everybody listening today, my guest today is Selena Ott. Selena is at the tender age of 21, is really tearing it up. Uh,
22.
22, I'm so sorry.
Woo.
22. She was,
Yes, since August.
it's August, it's August. She was the first woman ever in the 70-year history of the ARD International Music Competition of Music to win first prize, which you did when you were 20. And she's been, we'll get into what she's been doing lately uh, with all of the great orchestras you've been playing with and the concertos and the way your solo career is going. But before we get into all that, I kind of want to get a little background for some people that might not know you as well yet. Can you talk about your beginnings in music and on the trumpet?
Okay, well, I started the trumpet when I was 6, when I just started school. And my parents are both music teachers. My father teaches trumpet, and my mother teaches the flute. And I kind of learned both instruments, but my mother told me I was really untalented while playing the flute. So she like took it away and told me, please don't learn the flute. And my father said I was quite talented with the trumpet, so I stick with the trumpet. And I practiced and practiced, and then I started to study when I was 13 with Martin Mühlbauer at the Music and Performing Arts University of Vienna. And yes, and now I'm studying with Roman Rindberger. So that's how it was.
Now, did you grow up in Vienna?
No, my parents live in St. Pölten, which is near Vienna. It's like 70 kilometers. But I live now in Vienna because I'm studying in Vienna and it's easier.
Yeah. Now, yes. So what kind of things did you do with your father? How did he start you on the trumpet? Do you remember that?
Well, you know what I remember when that my teeth changed from the, I don't know how to call it. I don't know, the first teeth and then the second.
Yes.
And they had like this gap. And my father said, I didn't mind. I just played the trumpet and I didn't mind that there were no teeth. So I didn't care, which is funny. I think now would really disturb me. But, as a small kid, nothing matters really. So, and yes, and I think I started very early to practice, like Clark and all these technical studies. And I always... I took it very easily and I had no problems with tonguing and all this stuff which my student colleagues had to learn. I already got it because I started it so early because my father was a trumpet teacher and he supervised me like every day. And my mother also, and she was way more, how is this word?
Strict discipline?
Yes, she was really strict because she could not understand why trumpet players make so many mistakes because flute players don't. So she, kind of thought it would be like I was playing the flute. So she was very strict and did not forgive the mistakes so easily. But it's good. So I practiced more precise and yes, and I think um, that really helps when you're supervised every day when you're a little kid, because then you don't do mistakes because they are corrected um, in the second you make it. Right. And you have no time to learn these mistakes. When you don't only have lesson once a week, you have a week of time to make all the mistakes you have and learn the false things, which I didn't have. So I think that's good, but I didn't like it all the time.
Were they very strict about using a metronome and playing very slow and learning things?
Yes, exactly. My mother always told me practice with the metronome because then it would be precise. And I hated practicing with the metronome, but I do like to practice with it now. So that's good. But of course, and she always told me I have to play a passage like 5 times slow and right, and then it will be saved in my brain. So yes. And I was, as a little kid, I always liked to play everything fast and through, and you know how it is. But yeah, I always heard please play it slow.
And that's probably a big, but you formed terrific habits at an early age because of that, I'm sure, right?
Yes, I think so.
And playing in, keys that are less familiar are, I'm sure, much easier than they were with some people who had to you could not avoid those with your parents, I would imagine.
Yes, of course. I had to play F sharp, the the F sharp scale, like when I
Yes.
was 8. I don't know. So
Yeah. And, but
no avoiding.
But you probably didn't think it was a big deal either because.
Yes, because I was so young, and my father didn't tell me this is hard and this is easy. He just gave me things to practice, and I practiced them, and then they worked because I didn't think about it. And now you hear from the teachers, this you have to really practice this because this is hard, and this is um yes, difficult. And yeah, that's the problem with the Haydn concerto too, I think, because everybody makes such a big deal about it, but actually it is not that hard. So I mean, there are pieces which are way harder. I mean, you have to play the style exactly and everything. This is hard, of course, but yeah.
But it's right, but it's not technically as hard as say Desinclo or something like that, of course.
Yes.
So
it's practically an F scale, so no, that's not true. But almost.
Almost. That was his joke though, right? That was Haydn's joke. So
yes,
so
I know.
so you studied with your father until you were 13, and then you actually left to go to school in Vienna at that point, or were you back and forth between home and school?
I was back and forth. I was in school for my normal teaching in Vienna too, but I always traveled. I live in Vienna since this year actually, so I always traveled.
Back and
Yeah,
forth.
I didn't mind. I like train rides.
Yeah. And so what was it like studying with Martin
Mühlbauer.
Mühlbauer? I'm so sorry.
Yes, it was a really really nice time. I really liked him as a person a lot, and I was really young and I looked up to him. He was my idol, and I really did everything he said without any thought, because I just respected him so much, and he um, um, Arban is really important for him. So I kind of it I learned it by my heart, and it's just I'm lost of the words. I know.
No, you're doing fine. Your English is great.
So I practiced Arban a lot, really a lot, because he emphasized on it a lot, and I think this was really good for me because it laid such a good basic for my trumpet playing, a good foundation. And he was also a teacher. He just gave me the pieces, like the Arban variations, and he supported me and everything, but he never told me this is hard and this is easy, and he just gave me the things and I practiced it. And he never said any well, no, I don't know how to say.
And he never made it negative. It was very positive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's very good. But because when somebody is negative with me, this does not go well. I don't know. I can only work with positive people. I can't do the negative thing. It doesn't. It frustrates me. But some people get a negative critic, and then they think, "Wow, now I'm gonna do it even better." But I'm just, now I don't want to anymore. So that's like the opposite with me. So, and he's a really positive person, so this was really really good, and I'm really happy that he was my first professor. And I was really long with I started like 5 years with him, quite long, and it was really really good.
But now, before you got to him, I think I've seen some video of you playing online with a brass band. Am I right about that? You were very young.
Yes.
But talk about that just a little bit before we go back into studying with Martin.
Well, I got the opportunity because I played the youth competitions in Austria. They are called Prima la Musica. They are every 2 years, and I always went to them and played. And in one jury member was the conductor of the brass band in Austria, from Tyrol and over Upper Austria. And when I was 11, he asked me if I wanted to play a concert with them, and of course I said yes. Very cool. And then it was like the EBBC, the European Brass Band Championships, and I played in a gala concert with a chory band and everything, and it was so huge. And I just remember going through the dressing room of the chory band, which are all men, really really heavy, and they were so big. And I just remember I was so small, and I looked up to them, and it was so intimidating a bit. when I went to the stage, the man and everything, this was a really, really big event. But I was very young. I did not care, and so I just played. You maybe know the video on YouTube, the whirlwind video.
I saw the video, and
okay, that's why you asked.
That's why
this
I asked.
Was really crazy.
That seems like but your technique at that point was still, you look very much the same as when you played. It's very relaxed and like no big deal about anything. So so that
but
was.
The last high note wasn't really hard for me. It was like the highest note I could play at this age. It was a high C, and it was really hard. And I was really relieved that it came.
Well, you were what? You said 11?
Yes.
Yeah, that's okay for 11. I think a high C is pretty good high note for. Your high notes are much better now.
Yes, that's true.
So
fortunately.
Now, before you were studying with Martin, were you playing Arbon with your father, or was it mostly Clark and like some tunes, or?
Well, it was Arbon also, but it was like Clark and I don't know the flexibilities. I can't really remember now what we did. And a lot of solo pieces actually. And I think it may not be so good, but I learned the most technical stuff and everything through the solo pieces, because every time I managed to play a piece quite well, then I got the next piece which was a bit more difficult, and so I learned. I mean, with little kids this is easy, I think, because they learn so fast.
What kind of solo pieces were you playing when you were still studying with your father?
No.
You remember?
No, Inesco was later, but kind of unknown pieces, because my father always searched for pieces that didn't everybody know, because at the competitions he sent his pupils also, and it's always good if the jury hears something new, and not the same pieces like the second movement of Haydn. I mean, no one is interested in hearing a 10-year-old play this. I mean, maybe he can do it, but it's not right. And you shouldn't play it at this age because you can't understand it. So I played some just unknown pieces, and I started quite early with the variations from Arbon, Naumann, Brillante Fantasie, and this kind of stuff. That's quite technical, but
that's quite technical, because there's some video of you a little later on playing, I think, Napoli and some things like that.
Yeah, I still play Napoli.
You still play Napoli,
and it is going so fast, because my pianist, which I always play with, he has really fun making me go fast, because he knows I can do it, but he knows it stresses me also. And it is, he doesn't have to play much, but he really enjoys like doing this crazy fast tempo, and we always do it as an encore after our recitals. So I'm like really stressed, and it does not feel good anymore, but he has always fun playing Napoli with me. That's for sure.
So you studied at the University of the Performing Arts in Vienna with Martin, and then you were with Reinhold after that. Is that right?
Not after, but during. It was at the same time. This was difficult, because I went to school in Vienna, and we had to travel to Karlsruhe, which is like 7 to 8 hours car drive, which is very long. And it was like this. My father and me, we drove up like every 1 or 2 months. And we stayed one night, and then we went home again, and I had like 2 or 3 lessons, but we only did this a couple of times. It just didn't work, because it was so much driving. But I met Reinhold at a masterclass also, and I did a few masterclasses actually with him, and he still is a really great motivator. He's this positive person, and everybody plays better when he's just around them. So this was really good. And I was 14 or 15, 16, something like that. And it pushed me also, especially with my musical interpretations, because I was quite good at technical things, but I did not care so much about the musical thing, because I only cared about playing fast and everything. And this had to evolve, and I had to grow up into this thing, and that's what Reinhold helped me a lot with.
Yeah. Well, so what were the lessons with him like? Did you play fundamentals with him, or were you just playing pieces?
No,
Or
nothing. I just played pieces, and once I played orchestral excerpts. Also, this was very fun. But yes, mostly solo pieces.
and
He's an expert in this. So
yes, yes, he is. and and I wanted to ask you a little bit before. What kind of trumpet did you start playing on? Was it a rotary trumpet from the beginning?
no, I got my first rotary trumpet, which I still have, and it is actually here. It is very old. It's 20 years old, and it's actually the trumpet from the former player in Notzelbras, which was he was before Roman. Actually, this is his trumpet, and he gave it back because he doesn't play anymore. And when I was 11, my father bought this for me from Chagall,
Mm-hmm.
and I still have it, and it is my very, very sacred trumpet. And but I started on a pocket trumpet. Do you notice?
Yeah.
It's smaller than a cornet. It was like this, and it was blue. It was really cool. But then I this was only a short time, and then I played a few years on a cornet because I was just too small for the rotary trumpet. And at the age of 11, I got the rotary trumpet.
So it was most of your training years were on a rotary trumpet.
Yes.
Okay.
And I still do my warm up on rotary trumpet because that's where I feel at home.
Mhm.
It is the traditional instrument in Vienna and Austria. And, you know, with Martin really emphasized on rotary trumpet. And I got my C trumpet, my Perrine, a few years later. So now I practice both the same,
Mhm.
but I'm at home in
On the
my B rotary trumpet.
Yeah, of course, of course. Um, so and then you were still studying with Martin and Reinhold when you did the ARD competition, right?
No, I started my bachelor's in 2016 with Roman.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I changed from Martin to Roman,
Mm-hmm.
and so Roman was my guardian angel while ARD competition.
Yes.
Yeah, he helped me really a lot. We did a competition simulation and all this crazy stuff. It was a really intense time, but it paid off. So,
Talk
and I
about that.
think he enjoyed torturing me. So.
Well, talk about that a little bit with Roman. How did you? What was the first of all? Can you remember the repertoire for that competition?
Of course, I can. In the first round, I played Des Enclos, Incantation, Tränen et Danse, and Leopold Mozart concerto. Then in the second round, I played Vasilenko, the concert poem, and Berio Sequenza. And in the third round, I played Haydn and the Olga Neuwirth, the commissioned piece. This was really frustrating to practice. And in the final, I played the Jolivet concerto number 2. Yes.
That's a heavy round. What was
Yes, it was.
how did you balance your practice between your fundamentals and working on all these really hard pieces at the same time?
Yeah. Well, I think I did not practice the fundamentals as much. I did my warm up, like I do every day, 30 minutes, and in my warm up, I already practice fundamentals, if that makes sense. I mean, I
Mhm.
do Chikowitz, to warm up, and I don't play so high in the first time, but I do tonguing and slurring and flexibility, and I just check that everything is here what I need. So I do triple tongue, double tonguing, everything, which is kind of practicing the fundamentals a little bit. But I started the repertoire like half a year before the competitions, before the competition, and it was crazy, of course, because it was 7 concertos, and I honestly didn't know how I should do that because it's really difficult to prepare each concert really well, the musical interpretation, and that everything feels free and well prepared, because you have I think my main not problem but difficulty was getting strong enough to play through. And I didn't think that I would get even to the second round, because the first round was the hardest because we did not have a break in between the pieces. So I had to play Leopold Mozart and directly after it Desenclos, which was crazy because Desenclos was already at the limit. And I was a bit scared that I would survive, but I did. I don't know how, but I did. So yes, I don't know what I should talk now. I
No.
lost it again.
I'm so no. I'm so listening to this. That's just so much. That's so much repertoire. Were you
Yes, it
were
really
you
was crazy.
were you learning some of that, like singing it, or how were you working on that? Because I mean, you
Yes,
can't play that all the time.
yes. I mean, I didn't play every concerto every day. I practiced like one or two at a day because I'm a person who does not practice as much. Not because I'm lazy, but because I can't. When I practice more than 2 hours, my lips don't feel good anymore, and then it doesn't sound good, and it just doesn't work. So I have to be really intelligent about my practice, and don't practice any stupid stuff I don't need and waste my time. So I kind of made a plan, that I would practice this on this day, and that I had everything rehearsed, and that I knew the music sheet. And the most difficult thing I think was I had to learn, like, every concert was new to me. I did not know other than Haydn.
Hmm.
Everything was new, yes. And I had to be able to play technically, but then I had to find my interpretation, and an interpretation which will stand out. Because if you play just like everyone else, this is not good at the competition, because you have to present yourself, because the everybody can play the pieces, and you have to find something the jury can difference everything.
Right.
And yeah,
That's a that's a
but
just
somehow I learned it.
well, you learned it, and then you won. What was that moment like when you found out that you won the competition?
It was actually on the stage. Ketil, the jury front seat, I don't know how to call it.
Hmm.
He talked something about, I don't know, a girl and something, and my colleagues won this second prize before me, right? And
Hmm.
then Ketil talked about me, and I thought, well, what do I get now? Third prize or nothing? Because you hear that at ARD you often get no prize, and I thought I can't win. That's impossible. So I thought, yeah, maybe no prize, but I don't care. I was in the final, so I'm happy. And then I don't know, they congratulated me, and I was really confused because I thought, no, I could not hear right. And then I went off the stage, to Roman and my boyfriend and my family, and I asked them, did I win? What prize did I get? I don't know. I'm so confused. I couldn't hear. I was so I confused, and they were like, you won, and I was, no, I can't believe it. What? And yeah, so I was a bit confused on the stage, but yeah, because I couldn't believe it. It was such a huge goal, and I never would have thought that I would go to the second round. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the reason why I won, because I had no expectations at all. I just went to the first round. I thought, what am I doing there? I just started studying. I don't know. And I just played. I did not have any pressure to, prove anything to anyone. So I just could play freely and present what I worked for.
And then obviously it worked out. I mean, was being a soloist a career goal of yours, or were you thinking that you would be an orchestral player, or did you not know? Or
Well, actually, I and my parents also, everybody thought I would be, good at being a soloist. And I played with the brass band once, and a few things with orchestra, and I could not picture myself as an orchestral player, because everybody was like, I don't know. And I played always the crazy solo pieces. But when I started studying, I kind of wanted to be an orchestral player too, because everybody wanted to do it. And, doing auditions is like awesome. And you have this adrenaline thing. And I, I
yeah,
really
that's
like
right.
playing competitions. And this is weird, but I really like it. And I'm really sad because I can't do it anymore, because that would be a bad decision after ARD. So yes, that's over for me. But yeah.
Well,
And Yes, and then I did the ARD, and now I'm forced to be a soloist. No, I'm not, but I have the opportunity and I just take it, and I think it fits me well. Yes. There is my boyfriend. He just came home.
It's so hot.
It's hard.
It's so hot.
Well, is there ever too much trumpet at
He
your
just
house?
said it is so hot in here. What?
Is there ever too much trumpet in your house?
No, because he doesn't practice here. He always practice in the Konzerthaus, and because he's annoyed when I practice, so he doesn't practice. So we don't have too much trumpet. But what we have is a lot of trumpet videos because he watches them a lot, and I'm really annoyed at it, but I can't make it stop. Yeah.
Well, it's either trumpet videos or PlayStation, right? It's one or the other.
That's true.
So,
yeah, but when he plays the PlayStation, I don't hear anything, so that's better.
so speaking of well, before I get to the practice specific things, what trumpet players did you grow up listening to that you kind of looked up to and idolized?
Well, most of all, I think Hakan Hardenberger, and then Gabor Sarkwy, which I know quite well actually now. And yeah, Hakan always was a big idol for me because he played this crazy stuff which no one else could and still can't. And he has the thing which amazed me the most was his sound, because it was always so clear and so beautiful. And I always wanted to sound good as well, because this was such an inspiration. Because I think that's the most important thing about a trumpet player, how he sounds, because that's the first thing you hear. And I don't care if somebody has a bad technique if he has a beautiful sound, because then I like listening. I don't like listening to a not great sound, but amazing technique. I don't care about that. And yeah, so he was a great inspiration. And for the orchestral stuff, of course, Gabor Sarkwy, he's amazing. And he has this big sound. It's when he teaches, I had the pleasure to, he was at our university and I did a few masterclasses with him. And yes, he's really amazing and he's so nice, and he helped me a lot after ARD, organizing everything and the stuff with agencies. And yeah, this was difficult, of course, because I was 20. I had no idea about everything, so I had get helped.
Yeah.
Roman helped me a lot, and then Gabor, and yes.
Yeah, all three of those guys are just great people, and yeah, you'll see the interview on this page with Gabor. He's a lot of fun.
Yes, I would see it.
And so you were listening to those people. What about like Maurice Andre? Was that?
Yes, of course. And... Yeah, Maurice Andre, especially with Julie V and the crazy French stuff, because nobody plays it better than he does.
Right, exactly. And so what was so tell me what a typical trumpet, I mean, we kind of discussed this a little bit, but what's a typical practice day like for you right now? Like in between concerts, what are you doing?
Yes. Well, I start with a warm-up, of course, and then I just start with the solo pieces I have to play next, which is now a bit crazy because I have some recitals. I never know how to pronounce it. Recitals
was perfect. Yes.
And okay, and we have different programs, which is a bit uncomfortable, but you got to do it. So, and recitals are always a lot to practice, and you have to have the power also.
So yeah. Talk about your warm up a little bit. What all's involved in that? I know you mentioned he can come in.
Yeah, he just has to change, I think.
Oh, I know we mentioned that this interview is brought to you by Studio 259 Productions, which publishes this book. But because I think you're going to talk about the Chikowitz just a little bit right now. Tell us about what's the first thing that you do when you pull the trumpet out of the case every day?
Well, mostly I do. I just play with the mouthpiece, but just a few tones and no exercises particularly. And then I play Chikowitz or Stamp, or I practice a lot the Fritz Damrow school also, Shape Up. There are some warm-up exercises also, which are very good. And then I do a lot of tonguing actually, because it makes me it makes my embouchure more flexible. I don't know why, but it helps. And then double tonguing and triple tonguing, just warming every aspect of trumpet playing up, which I need afterwards with playing the solo pieces. I mean, now I have to play, for example, the Honega Intrada. So when I warm up and I know I have to play it afterwards, I do a lot of triple tonguing to warm my tongue up. But I played in the last weeks Shostakovich and Haydn, and then I did not do that because I don't need triple tongue at all. So I warm up other things like the flexibility and yes,
And
I just
are you mostly on B flat trumpet when you warm up? Do you stay with B flat, or do you mix it up some?
No, with the warm up I'm only on B flat, and after warm up then I take the C trumpet when I need it. And I play a few minutes, I warm up on this trumpet too, but not too much, and then I go directly into practicing what I have to play. Now I can't. When I just studied and had no concerts, I could decide what I wanted to practice, and now it is decided for me. But yes.
So what do you do what kind of things do you do for strength? Because the programs you're playing are incredibly strenuous. Do you do Caruso, or is there anything that you do in particular?
Well, I tried Caruso because Matthias told me this is a few a bit of time ago that you can build up embouchure, and I tried it for a short time, but it only destroys my embouchure. Maybe I didn't do it right, I don't know, but I don't do any strengths or power exercises. I get the power while practicing the program,
Mm-hmm.
because when I practice it, I have to play it, and then my embouchure changes for every piece just how I need it. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does make sense.
Because when I played Shostakovich, my embouchure was just like fitted for Shostakovich, and then I played Vasilenko concert poem in Vienna, and this is a completely different style. It is on B trumpet, and Shostakovich is mostly on C trumpet, and it's just completely different. And then, but when I practiced Vasilenko, everything changed in my embouchure again, and then I have the right power and the right flexibility or whatever. So yes, I don't do exercises, just the thing. Yes.
Well, and speaking of that, you brought up talking about different trumpets for the so you recently we'll talk about this more in a minute, but you've been playing Shostakovich piano concerto a lot. Were you playing it all on B flat trumpet or using both?
No, I switched. Well, with the first orchestra, with the Czech Philharmonic, I played it on rotary, everything, but B and C trumpet. I just think the sound of the C trumpet fits it better. And the slow movement you have to play on B flat because it's too low for C trumpet.
Right.
And I don't mind changing trumpet because I do it all the time in the practice room. And so that's why I played it on C trumpet. And then I played it again with Mariinsky Theater Orchestra, and I played it on the Perroni trumpet, B and C, just because I choose the rotary trumpet with Czech Philharmonic on rotary because we played it in Vienna also, and I couldn't do this to myself to play in Vienna without my rotary trumpet. But the second with Mariinsky Theater we played in Luxembourg, so I could play the Perroni trumpet. But actually it works both, so I just choose what I think fits best for me. And
I was going to say I saw some pictures of the rotary trumpet, and I wasn't quite sure if it was going to be that or the pistons or Perroni.
So I did both. No, but I don't mix. I would never play like C Perroni and B rotary. I think this is weird. I don't do that. Everything rotary or everything Perroni, except recitals. There I do both. Right. What fits the piece best.
Well, and let's talk about some of your schedule coming up, or some things that you've done recently, because you did Shostakovich piano concerto several times, and with Georgiev and with Bishkov, right?
Yes.
How were those?
That was really amazing.
Talk to me about that. How were those two conductors with you, and how were they different, or what kind of different things did they ask?
Okay, well, first I played with Simeon Pishkov, and it was the second concert after my half-year non-playing concert, because of COVID. I played Hyde before in Austria, but it was a smaller concert. And then this was this huge project with Jack Phil and Simeon Pishkov, like one of my biggest projects so far. And I played so long, no concerts. And I was in the first rehearsal, I sat on stage and I felt like a little mouse because, Daniel Trifonov sat before me and he's this amazing pianist and he is really a magician. And then Simeon Pishkov is standing right beside me and I was like, oh no, what I'm doing here. But everything was fine. Simeon Pishkov was really, really nice. And Daniel Trifonov doesn't talk so much, but it was really nice too. And we did an encore also, and it's just amazing playing with him. Everything is so smooth and everything works. You don't have to talk. It's just magic. So this was really, really amazing. And with Gergiev, it was very crazy. But with Simeon Bishkov, I'm sorry, I'm just confused all the time. With Bishkov, we played 4 concerts, 2 in Prague and 2 in Vienna. So I had a lot of time, getting to know the orchestra, and the concert masters are actually really, really fun. We had so much fun. It was really, really funny. And so because that's seldom as a soloist, I don't have that often that you get to know an orchestra so well, because normally you play one concert and then you go home and you can't really get to know the people. But now we did, because we had like several days to play with each other. That was really nice. But I felt more at home with Gergiev actually, even though this was like the most stressful day in my life. I got this project with Gergiev like 2 weeks before. My agent told me they need a trumpet player because they have to have the program changed because of COVID. And I said, yes, I have time. Okay. And my agent said, yes, we have a rehearsal before the concert. And that's it. And then Vadim, the piano soloist, wrote to me on Instagram, we might not have a rehearsal because Gergiev doesn't do rehearsals. And I was like, no, we can't play this concert without any rehearsal. New orchestra. I never met Gergiev. I never met the soloist. How can we do Shostakovich without anything? And I was like, okay, wow. I'm really glad I played it with Pishkov before, because otherwise I would be really scared. Okay. Then in Luxembourg, it was final, we had a rehearsal. Okay. Then it was like 4 o'clock, and on 6 o'clock, the concert started. On 4 o'clock, the orchestra was here, but Gergiev was not. And we heard Gergiev is in Italy and he's going to fly to Luxembourg now. Okay, well, he came before the concert and we had a little rehearsal, small bits of Shostakovich, and we finished the rehearsal 7 minutes before concert starts. Yes. Then we just got off the stage, changed, got on the stage again, played the concert, and it was amazing and everything worked so well. And I felt really at home. I was not stressed at all, because Gergiev, I was a little bit scared of Gergiev, because look at the pictures and what you hear from him. But actually he's so nice, and I was really scared because I thought I would not be good enough to play with Gergiev. I mean, who is? But after the rehearsal, he went out and he said to me, what did he say? You did well, or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. Now I'm really relieved, and I can die in peace now. And because, he's this positive person, and then I was not scared at all, because I'm scared anymore, because he was, he was content with me. So yeah. He did not say, I hate you, you play not good, I don't know what to play with me, or yeah. And yes, the concert was amazing. Gergiev is really, really, really nice. And when we went off the stage, he said, this was a really good Shostakovich. And I know, because I played hundreds of them. So yeah, this was really nice. So this was a really, really nice experience.
Now, was that with Mariinsky Theater Orchestra?
Yes,
so
with his orchestra.
I mean, obviously there's no other trumpets on that, but was Timur there?
No, he was not here. I know him, actually. I know him a bit, because he plays Chagall, also the same trumpet brand. And he wrote to me before and after, and he gave me some tips. But he was not here. Yes.
Oh. when you were working with this with Bishkov, because Bishkov obviously is a, I mean, of course Gergiev too, but such a well-known interpreter of Shostakovich. Did you have any discussions with him about this
Oh
piece, or
yes.
what
Yes,
were
we
those
had.
like?
Well, for example, the slow movement, I um I felt it in my heart to play it slow, um, like I don't know. I practiced it quite slow, and I felt it in my heart that it would be right. And then in the rehearsal, it was really fast actually, and it was very forward and everything. And after rehearsal, I talked to Pishkov, and I told him I would be I would feel more comfortable when it was would be a little bit slower. But he told me no, we won't do that because. And then he gave me like 10 reasons why, and I said okay. But you know, in the concert, then I was not stressed, but I could not play as freely because the tempi was against my heart a bit, and
Mhm.
it was really difficult for me actually to yeah, I don't know, but you know, he has to know. But then with Gergiev it was exactly my tempi, so that was fine.
This is why you and Gergiev are very close
I
now.
don't know, but it was really nice.
Wow. Wow. I mean, to play that piece with those two conductors, especially, is
Yes,
it's really amazing. Um, and you also
it's
have
an amazing piece also.
it is an
I
amazing
mean, you have
piece.
so many breaks and you can listen to these amazing pianists. I mean, this is really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the slow movement's so beautiful and
Yes.
so tragic sounding, of course. And then it was,
Yeah.
did he talk to you about how it was banned for a long time?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I just know it is like how is it called, a piece who, and it is a joke to the classical repertoire or something, you know, especially the
The
one
end.
part where the trumpet plays this drunk thing.
Yes.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's fitting. But is that yeah, because it was banned, I believe, if I'm right, I think it was banned under Stalin because it was a too
Okay.
formalistic piece, and then it wasn't played again for years. I mean, a little bit it was played, and then it was banned, and then there was a lot of his music that didn't come back out until Khrushchev, actually. But
Yeah.
that's amazing that you were able to do that with him. And then you have some
Yes.
Hummel concertos coming up, and still the Vasilenko concert poem concerts.
Yes. Once
Also,
again.
once again, what
Yes.
who did you listen to a lot of Dachitzer growing up?
Yeah, I actually did. I mean, I always was like, this vibrato is so extreme, and I did not like it back when I was younger because I thought, what is he doing? But now I really appreciate it actually, and I don't play like this. I don't use vibrato very much at all, but you know, the kind of music he plays, the whole Russian repertoire and all the things he discovered, like Pesky and Vasilenko and Böhme, you know, this all comes from him kind of,
Yeah,
and it just fits his style perfectly. So it's
yeah,
always an inspiration, and every time I have to play something like that, I always go to his recordings because I think this is the right way to do it. I
yeah.
don't play like him, I don't try to
Right,
imitate him, but you know, when I listen to it, I understand the composition more.
right. Absolutely, absolutely. And with Hummel, I know you're doing it in E. Which horn are you
Yeah.
playing the Hummel on?
E trumpet.
E trumpet, a
Yes.
Chagall E trumpet, right?
A Chagall, yeah, they built it, especially the it doesn't have, you know, the valves to change to an E flat trumpet. It is just an E trumpet, which is really good because the intonation is amazing. You know, the E flat trumpets, it's always a problem with intonation, but my E trumpet is really awesome. They did a very good job on that. My boyfriend helped them
Yeah,
also because he knows how I play and what I need, and he can tell them what to change to achieve that, because I can't tell them anything because I have no idea about trumpet building. They try to learn me, but sometimes somehow it doesn't work. So yeah, my boyfriend has helped them, and yes.
now you've been with Chagall for a long time, then, right?
Yes, that's true. I mean, we started to work together before ARD competition. They built a C trumpet for me before the competition, to fit my needs and everything. And after the competition, also C trumpet, I have everything from them. And before I knew them already because my father is a trumpet teacher, as I told you, and he always went to the company because it's not far from my home. It's like 20 minutes from my parents. So every time he needed something or I needed a trumpet, we went to Chagall. And then I kind of grew up with this company. I know them for like 10 years or something. So it's like my second family. This is really nice. And they are also so nice people. And
they are nice people, and they really have such great artists. And I love the videos they put out and the way they presented you playing the Haydn on the E flat trumpet that they make.
Yeah,
it's so good. It's such
Thank
such
you.
great playing. And so yeah, we were talking a little bit about the other concerts you have coming up. You have some really great recital programs coming up with, I think, UNESCO and some of the Artunian pieces also. So
Yes.
Talk about what pieces you're liking to play right now. It looks like things people like to hear right now is what you're playing, I think.
I hope so. With the recital programs, we can choose them by ourselves, because when I play with orchestra, the orchestra says what they want and I have to play that. But the recital programs, we have to choose by ourselves. And of course we try to have a mix between different genres, but with which fit together, so it's not anything mixed together. And I try to choose pieces that are good for the audience, because that non-musicians understand as well. Because I have a funny story. When I played Vasilenko in the Musikverein in Wien for 2 weeks ago, my boyfriend was there. Oh no, I'm confused.
He was there. No, you're going great.
My boyfriend was there. Yes, and after I played, some old woman behind him said, "Wow, that was a weird piece." And Vasilenko is romanticism. It's not contemporary at all, so it should be easily understandable. But yes, even in Wiener Musikverein. Okay, so in recital programs, we try to have different pieces who are fun for the audience.
Yeah, that's great.
That's why we always end with Napoli, because that is a piece everybody understands.
Well, I think that's really smart, especially right now while we're trying to bring audiences back after COVID, that you want them to come and feel at home.
Of course.
And stuff.
Yes.
Another thing that I've always seen on your social media, which looks like it's important, is yoga.
Yeah, it's not that important anymore because I have so much back pain from yoga. I think I
overdid it.
Overdid it, yes, because I'm a really what is the word? I always give my best, and I give like 1000% or nothing. And I think I did too much with yoga, so now I have really back pain, and I made a break, and then it was better. And now on my last turn in Austria, in Innsbruck, I did yoga again because I was so bored. Now I have back pain again, so I have to stop. Well,
the yoga.
But I think I have to do less, but I can't. I don't know. Every time I do yoga, I have to do these crazy back bendings and everything because it's so fun. But one day later, it's not fun anymore. I don't know.
That's.
But actually, I really enjoy doing it. So that's really a shame.
Well, yeah, I hope you don't hurt your back because you're only 21.
Thank you.
You have a long way to go. What about talk about the new CD that just came out with the Vienna Radio Symphony Orchestra? Can you talk about that project and sort of how that came to happen?
Yes, it actually came to happen because of COVID. So there are good things about this virus. In March, the orchestra had a China tourney, but it was cancelled because of COVID. And then the producer of the label, Orfeo, he said, "Okay, you know what? Now we make a CD with Selina, a young trumpet player." And yes, that's how it was. But we were stopped because of COVID in the middle of the recordings. And I was really sad because I thought, wow, this is so cool. I get to record my, favorite pieces with the Radio Symphony Orchestra in Vienna, my hometown, and everything. This is so cool. And then we got stopped, and I was like, no way. They will forget about this project and not finish it, and it's off the table. But it was not like this. And in June, the first possibility, the producer said, we are going to finish it. And they were like really keen on doing this project, which I'm really happy because, if they don't want to, I can't say anything. They won't do it. But the label was really amazing, and they supported me. And now in October, it already came out, so that was really fast, actually.
Did you have part of that recorded before COVID, or was that all after?
No, yes. In March, we started in March. We finished Peskin and Des Enclos, but not the cadences. And in June we did Arutunian and the cadences. So we had like half of it, and we finished the rest in June.
Oh my gosh! And so this project, you were expected the CD to come out much quicker than it did, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you have any more projects like this coming up?
Well, I have a second CD coming in February 2021 because we recorded in February, my pianist and me. This would have been my debut CD, but then because of Corona, we did the orchestral recordings, and the producer said we should do the orchestral CD first because it would be cooler to have a debut CD with orchestra, which he's right. But now the piano CD is coming next February.
Very
and
good.
What we will record after that is still in I don't know, in
Good.
ideas, and we have some projects, but nothing is final yet. And you never know with COVID what you can do and what not.
Oh, look, I think you have a special guest.
Wow, who?
Oh, it'll come up in just a second.
No, Roman. Hello, Roman.
Hi, Roman. He's connecting to the audio.
Thank God he didn't hear what I said before of him.
He's almost there. In just a second.
Oh no, why is he here? I didn't know he knew.
Oh, it was
Oh no.
He's the surprise guest. You got it?
You knew about this?
Of course.
Did you know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Roman, can you hear us?
You didn't tell me.
Let's see. This is Roman Reinberger signing in, of course, from Menozel Brass. And he's connecting his audio.
You should do the interview with him. He's more famous. Maybe more people will watch.
Well, I mean, I think it would be just... While he's connecting...
But we have 5 persons.
Oh, yeah. You wait till I put it on YouTube. It'll be even more. Can you tell it while he's connecting? Tell us what's going to be on the piano CD.
We have Des Enclos also, which is kind of fun because it's a different interpretation, because when I play with piano, you can be more freely, and you're kind of restricted with the orchestra. And we have Honecker Intrada, we have Vasilenko, Konzertpoem, we have Sutermeister, Gavotte de Concert, and what do we have? I forgot. I think.
Here's Roman.
Yes, now I can hear you.
Roman, great.
I'm sorry. Hi. Wait, give me a second. Yes,
there
now.
It is.
Sorry, I had really trouble with my computer in the moment. Sorry for that.
Oh, Roman. Well, we had a hard time with the Facebook Live. It didn't want to work today. So thanks for being patient and waiting to come in. I know it's late there, but
absolutely no problem.
So what was Selena like as a student? Or is she still a student of yours, right?
I'm still a student.
She's still a student? Yes, she was a very good one. I mean, what can I tell you?
I think I saw on Facebook recently, Selena was playing her jury, And I thought, did they have to pay?
Let me remember, when was that? I think it was in the Corona time anyway, so there wasn't too many people in the room. So
yeah,
I didn't have to pay.
It was all
we
a
had
bunch
we
of
had
plastic.
we had weird auditions before summer because no audience was allowed and stuff. So everybody played everything just on his own, piano, trumpet on stage, and nobody else listening. It was pretty trist, but yeah, it was the way it was.
So we were talking a little bit about how you helped prepare her for the competition. Can you kind of talk about what was your thought process with that? How did you want to put her in different situations to get ready for that?
Well, as I have been on some competitions by myself, I never got that far, but I knew kind of what you could expect there, especially if you pass the first round, and then everything actually goes very quick because you have to be prepared with every piece. Maybe you have 1 or 2 days to just catch up with the piece and try to get on track with it. So I knew that everything has to be really prepared very well beforehand, so that you just quickly warm up all the information that you need and that you can really just go and play on stage, because there is not much time. And the further you get, the more, there are coming some interviews, and it's like you don't actually have any time for yourself, or not too much time. Then you have no space because you're in some town. In this case, it was Munich. There is no really infrastructure that you can really practice like you're at home, because it's just tricky. And so the better you prepared, for sure, the easier it gets. And Selena is a very cool person in terms of not getting too nervous. So I tried to make her nervous.
Selena, do you get nervous?
As much.
Yes, that's what I meant when I said he tortured me.
I had to.
He tried to, but it worked.
It never really worked, but I did my best, as good as I could.
Did you use Thomas Gansch as a distraction sometimes to get her to play?
No, not Thomas. I used a few other guys that I knew that she has a lot of respect for, because that's the only thing, if you play a concert and there are 1,000 faces that you don't know, you don't care so much. But actually, if there's one face that makes you really nervous, it doesn't matter if it's at home under the Christmas tree that you have to play and you feel quite uncomfortable, or you sit in a big hall and there's just one person that distracts you. So that was the main thing, to find some people who she has a lot of respect for, and she just wanted to keep her face, and that's what we did. It was all in a very small setup in my studio. No, she had to sit in my sauna and just wait there for 15 minutes while it was not hot, so it was just small and dry, and we have been discussing things outside, and I made people laugh a little bit and loud, and give her the feeling that we probably talk about her. So it just to make as much uncomfortable situation as possible, and she always managed to do very well. So it's just a stress test that I thought is very important, because the more you can handle it, the better you're gonna play then.
Right. And is winning that competition what led to you playing the Jolivet we all seen on YouTube?
You mean with the Jolivet Concertino?
Yes.
Yes, because the WDR Symphony Orchestra, they invited me because they wanted to feature a prize winner at ARD for the first time. So yes, that's why.
Roman, I think one thing about Selena's playing I always like is she looks so calm when she's doing it. Like there's no work involved. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is that part of her not being nervous, you think? I mean, it doesn't look like you're nervous. I don't know.
She has a very effective way to play. She's very how do you say that in English? Efficient. Thanks. She's very efficient, so there is not too much power going somewhere where it actually more distracts you than it helps you.
Yeah.
But this is a fact that I really observe a lot with girls in general, with women, because they tend to have a very efficient way to play. Maybe it's just a natural thing that they just don't want to force things so much, or maybe just a few stupid thoughts. It's maybe because they don't want to look awful like the trumpet boys do sometimes, getting a red face and looking really, really, yeah, like, yeah, not very good.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it seems like they just try to do things really, really efficient, and that may be a reason. She's not the only one that works like this, and yeah, it's maybe also a big part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was also curious too, being in those situations, especially so young. I mean, was there a component? Was there a part of it was a lot of visualization before? Did you work on that as well as just playing the pieces also, like imagining things going well?
Well, it's a part, or it's a way that I work anyways with my students. So if we prepare auditions for orchestra, we work a lot with just imagination, or just like, I don't know the English term for that, when you train mentally.
Yes.
Is that right?
Mental training.
So we
yes.
just
Yep.
mental training. So you just sit down, maybe you have your trumpet in your hands to feel like you're working, but everything is just going on in the brain. You imagine the volume, you imagine the dynamics, you imagine the situation, you imagine the surrounding. Like, you can imagine actually everything. There's no borders in imaginations, in the good and also in the bad way, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But you can bring yourself really in an audition situation, and then you just go through it as long as you need to feel something like a routine. And as we all know, the more routine you have in doing things, the easier they go. So if you get into a situation the first time in your life, it's always difficult.
Right.
Especially if it's going for an orchestral job or a competition where actually every reaction of you counts in a very, yeah,
Selena, was
personal way. Or
I was going to say, Selena, did you do a lot of that kind of preparation? I would imagine, because Roman was directing you towards that. Were you imagining the competition a lot?
Not a lot, but I imagined how it would feel playing the competition. But I was so stressed to practice everything. I don't know. I had not a lot of time to think about the competition itself, and but I had no pressure going to the competition, so I was not that stressed.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but I tried to connect it with positive emotions, the competition. So I tried to not be scared, because everything is so difficult and I might not have enough strength or something. So I tried to stay positive, which is the most important thing, I think.
I think so too. Roman, would you agree that's probably one of the most important traits with your students is a positive outlook like Selena has?
Sure, it's always good to be positive and to be not afraid and to have no panic in yourself. But I see my work more on the one side as a teacher, so to teach people the rules that they have to understand, how to play the trumpet, how to play the music, how to perform in a perfect way for the situation they're going for. But on the other hand, I see myself a lot as a coach. So not so much as a teacher, then like motivating people doing things that they don't want to do, because this is a very strong thing on the trumpet. There is so much things we don't want to do because either they're boring or they're tiring or they just stress us, or we can't do them. That's why we avoid them. So I think this is a very big part of the work that especially my students have to go through. It's not always fun. Selena can tell you that this is not always fun business together to get somebody there doing things that maybe you don't want to do. But I think it works good.
Yeah. Well, clearly, I mean, I think Selena's got a long career ahead of her. So, you know,
Hopefully, yeah.
and hopefully all of this Corona at some point clears up, and you guys can both come to the United States. That would be nice to see you in person again, Roman, and it'd be nice to meet you in person, Selena. So, but yeah, this was Selena. This was a surprise I planned with Roman for a couple of days now. So.
Oh, thank you for that. I didn't go to my lesson today, so it's nice to see Roman anyway.
Yeah, this way it's also fine.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I just wanted to thank you for all of this. And Selena, if you have any thoughts in closing you want to have, or just everybody buy your CD.
Not really.
Not really.
That's good. Thank you for reminding me. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, the CD is out now, and you can get it on Amazon or through Naxos.
All through me if you want to have a signed copy.
Very good. Very good. And
Yes.
and Roman, are you guys what is the situation like with Menozel right now? Are you guys going to be doing any concerts, or is it everything on hold a little bit?
Well, it's difficult to say. We just had a few shows that was really, really good to play and be on stage again. Now things get worse again. So one show after the other is getting canceled. We still have like 5 till Christmas, and it looks like 2 more get canceled. And so it's just 3 left over. Yeah, it's not so much fun to look at that. But well, at least we're playing a little bit. We canceled our US tour, unfortunately. It's moved till 21 already. And so it's actually the second tour that is actually postponed already now. Since in March we should have been there, next February we should have been there. So it looks like it's another 1.5 years till we show up somewhere in the States.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the way it is.
I know, sooner the better. But look, I thank you both for doing this today. And Selena, I hope you sell thousands of CDs now with a few people.
Thank you so much.
Who can watch.
And thank you for inviting me. It was very nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you too. Roman, thank you so much for sticking around to come in and say hello.
Mark, you're welcome.
My pleasure.
See you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Selena, hang on just a second.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
I'm here.
Bye-bye. Okay.